Welcome. I am Crimey Queen. If you are joining us for the first time, this is the channel where we have fun with words and numbers. I have been on a marathon and I am loving it. I'm having fun. Fun is five, and I am really accepting and acknowledging that I am five in this sense when we are talking about numerical values, when we are talking about numerical vibrations. So I am really taking the embodiment or the assimilating myself, acknowledging over time. That's what I believe has happened, that we have learned to assimilate ourselves. Oh, oh, with whatever it is that we have been faced with. Now, I was just eager to mention, for instance, sometimes even the very thing that we think we are not occupied or we do not like, for instance, but the mere fact that it is we have been so occupied with it and trying to avoid it, it becomes part of us. And so, in my journey, for instance, where I had not really got a clear understanding about myself as a mother, where I stood with Eve from the scriptures, and that was, of course, which meant there is another mother, my biological mother. And so there was like this triad that I'm trying to make sense of. And so, because I had not been able to do so, or I had issues with it, it really meant that it became a part of myself. And to acknowledge my path and acknowledge myself as where I want to be, or where I'm coming from, or where I am right now, I had to acknowledge those things and look at the situation and see that Eve has always been a part of myself, or I am of Eve. And I believe that is for all of us. Of course, this is part of the story that we have been taught. There's um, no dispute or discrepancy about that. What it has been is that we have had a terrible mother who was a sinner. And had it not been for her disobedience to God, the world would not be in the state it is right now. Now, that is where the issue lies. So, the question of blame has continued, and it has been a part of our everyday lives. So, we continue to blame. We continue to blame ourselves, blame others, because that's what we know. We were born in blame. This is what we learn. And that is so crucial, that we understand or come to some resolution with that journey of learning who we are. We see it has been so important in our world today. This is why there's something, of course, there was the tree of life. And we are of a tree. We are of the tree of Mother Eve and Father Adam and God. We are a tree, but we have had this distortion about the tree. The tree had been, we ought not to know much about it, because what we have been taught more is that we need to be mindful of the mother, the root of where we have come from, instead of the whole acknowledgement of who we are, part of that root. Okay, so my presentations have been on this little mini series about the Genesis of chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. I like the heaven, the earth. The is six. The is very, we take it for granted that the is just a word, but it is saying that it's really giving us a sense of focus. This is that focal point, the. Okay. Now, created. Of course, I have done a list of words from created. Just to recap, I have done the word art, and the word act. I think they are and reacted. That's the thing. That has to be the crucial word, reacted. Now, if God created, there was a reaction in that created as well. So, could it be God reacted first to create? Now, that is a question because the two are intertwined. It is really like this side of the leaf is lighter than this side because everything we have seen so far is of two. No, we were told it's one. Okay, that's the story. That's the story. But we don't know, and I don't think we'll ever get to the bottom of the deep, like you just said, of the depth. We don't know all what's lurking beneath the waters, so to speak, which we are waters. So basically, we are endeavoring to understand ourselves as much as possible because we are water and we are of the water, Mother Eve, or of the waters. Waters equals five. Okay. Now, what I have done so far is that I have done presentations on these four words. Of course, the word heart was not really in the first verse, but it is in the first verse, but not spelled heart, it was spelled earth. Now, we, of course, have understood that God created everything as we have been told, and we were the last creature, species, thing, or being to be created. So, meaning everything, and that is what I am perceiving. Every thought process that was taking place while God was creating man, that was deposited in man. It was somewhere in man's DNA, in our vibration. That is what I am wanting to believe. And so far, that is the thought that I am holding on, particularly when it is said he breathed into man's nostrils. When you breathe, your breath is everything. It says breath is life. It has everything in it. It has that cycles. If we're in the cold and we blow into the cold atmosphere, you could actually see the mist, your breath going up as a mist into the air. You could see the circles that it forms. And without that, we would not be able to function like we do right now. Okay. So we see these two words are synonymous. Okay, and heaven, we have Eve, of course, we have seen Eve and even from the word heaven when God created. So basically, it's like God created heaven, meaning Eve also was part of that, of heaven, or Eve is heaven. I'll just put it this way. It's like um, I'm getting an inkling as if Mother Eve is saying, I'm not just part of heaven, I am heaven. I like that. Okay, Mother Eve. Um, so basically, it's saying that, okay, I am heaven. Now, of course, we always associate heaven with above, and now I can see why Mother Eve is saying, I am heaven. Because there it is. We have numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and we have 6, 7, 8, 9 here, and we have 5 here. So Mother Eve is heaven. Mother Eve is here. Of course, the word heaven equals 10. It equals 28 to be precise. And but the word mouth equals 5, like it is Mother Eve. And then in the past presentations, which I have shown, that the word tongue, Tongue, let's see this. This is 2, 6, 5, 7, 3, 5. So this is 8, and 7 is 15, 20, and this is 20. This is 26, 27, 28. So tongue is 28, And heaven, let's look at this. H-E-A. Okay, we have heaven here. Well, let's just do it here. And this is 8, 5, 1, 4, 5, 5. Okay, so this is 10, 15, 20, 28. Now, isn't that delicious? Isn't that delicious? That's what I love about numerology. So the tongue is part of the mouth. It is in the mouth. I have done this already. I have done the teeth is 4, 22. 2 plus 2 is 4. And we see how teeth and tongue, let's put it together, that comes to 5. It comes to 5. So 4, because 10 is 2 plus 8 is 10, and that means it's 1. So teeth is 22. So we see how Mother Eve is heaven. Hey, so basically we have that 10 in the mouth, and coming together, we see it still encapsulates Mother Eve right on the top of her. This is heaven. So when we understand who we are, then we know we are in heaven. This is not about, for me, waiting for Christ to come through the clouds. No. This is not about believing that Christ is going to um, punish me or I have to report up there somewhere. I think the up there somewhere it's an invisible realm of where we are operating from, how we are perceiving our world, how we are treating the earth, how we are treating the heart in here or the earth in here, if you like, how we are paying attention to the land that was given to us as the children of Israel. Now, when I say that, I mean the land, this body, because this body, I believe, is the land of the 12 tribes, as we have been told about the 12. It's the cranial nerves. So there are 12s. We are dealing with many 12s. Okay. So basically, not to drift too far from this presentation, is that we see that in those words, what I the purpose for this presentation is to examine these words that derive from this first chapter, and to see how the common denominators or common factors that they hold that we have done. I have done that throughout the presentations. So yes. So the only thing here we have, for instance, in heaven, we haven't got an air in heaven. For Eve is in heaven. Perhaps once Eve is in heaven, she doesn't need to hear anything anymore. Because when you're on the top, good heavens, you do not need to hear, because if you want to hear anything, you need to go down to earth. That is where, and I think that is really crucial, because that's where the lessons are. That's where it's like a boot camp. We come, we are in the earth, we are in this dimension, whether it's the 3 dimension we're in, and we are learning, we are sweating. This is where it was said, by the sweat of thy brow thou shalt live, and then thou shalt live. Now, that live is not just Live, I think it's also Leav or Leave, because it would mean that you would have come to a stage where you get to your being your you get your five leaf. You get your 5 leaf, like you get your leave. You get your leave like you will at work, and then you graduate into your 5th dimension. Okay. I'm going to wrap this up because I can feel, okay, I've been talking. Okay. So what I find is very crucial, sorry, apart from these here, common denominations. Okay, so we have in heaven, earth, and heart. We have HEA, and HEA. Of course, we have in heaven and, or these are synonymous. Okay, okay. And so create, yes, so we have REA. So basically, as we say with Mother Eve, this is why it is in the scriptures, Mother Eve is in everything. So basically, Mother Eve does not need to be hearing anything when we are in heaven. This is where we do not need to be hearing things because we are heaven. We are that 10. We are whole. We are balanced. We are 10. So it's not necessary that you hear, but you be whatever you are going to be. What you do, whatever you are meant to do, which is also 10. Okay, the word do. So I think I'm going to wrap up on this. I feel that this is basically, um, yes, that's basically it. So another thing, just to remind ourselves that the word earth or heart equals 7 and heaven is 10, which is 1. So that means 7 and 1 is 8. And that would mean that's what Mother Eve ate. So we see heaven and earth. This is what I mean about Mother Eve being heaven and earth. So Mother Eve had been to heaven and earth, and there Mother Eve ate of the fruit, of course, went up to heaven. This is the heavens. We are talking about the third eye. So heaven and earth is 8. But the 8 did not end here. When we do the numerical value for the word nose, 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 5165. I like the fives at the end. 6 and 6, 12. And 5 would be 17. So this is 8. 1 plus 7. So the nose is 8 here. We have 8 here. And the eye, when we do the numerical value for the word eye, EYE, I don't know why I'm tempted to think that they won't. I have said it's 2 gods, but maybe perhaps it's three gods. Of course, it is said Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So okay, so I is 5, 7, 5. 5 and 5, 10 and 7, 17. So that equals 8. It's Mother Eve, we are dots. This is it here, we are dots. And God is 17 right here. We see the 17. So do we take that 17 away and say that Mother Eve is not God when all this process, all this act, all this illustration is of 8? Well, that's the question. Okay. All right. So I leave you with this. I hope you have found this thought provoking at least, or I hope you have found it insightful for the most. And do join us again. I hope you have liked that you do like. And so if you do like, share, click the like button. Wow. Click the like button. I think this is the emphasis to say ensure to click the like button and share because this is how we do it. We share to actualize in self-full love. Stay blessed, stay bright, be a field because we are planting new seeds and spill over with love. Delicious.